Now, what are the punishments given to people who allure others or coerce others to believe in their faith? Death penalty, life imprisonment, huge fines. If I advertise something and I coerce you to believe in a subtle way, to buy some medicine from me or to buy some stuff from my shop, you wouldn't consider it offensive. But if I tell you to believe in a faith that has worked for me, it is considered as allurement. It is considered sometimes as coercion. Suppose I tell you don't drink alcohol, it will cause your liver to damage and you will die. It is not coercion. But if I tell you that if you continue to live in a particular sin, like if you do adultery, then you may go to hell. God may punish you. Then it is a sin. My telling is a sin. The adulterer is not a sinner. But if I tell them that if you continue to do adultery, or if you continue to do murder, or theft, or stealing, or lying, it would result in an eternal damnation, then I am coercing them. I am forcing them. I am making them afraid, and it is punishable. So think of the logic of these laws. The problem is that if somebody is taking another person into some addiction of alcohol or drugs or homosexualities, there are no laws to prohibit them. But if someone is helping people to come out of these addictions and to live an honorable life, then our government is creating laws to stop them from doing so. For instance, most of the people who came to my church when I was pastoring were people who wanted freedom from addiction to alcohol and freedom from addiction to smoking. And Jesus helped them. Well, if I tell them that if you believe in Jesus, Jesus will help you to overcome this habit, can you consider it as an allurement? Can it be considered as coercion? Am I doing something that would damage them, or am I doing something that would help them? As a doctor, I can say the same thing. This medicine will help you. And medically, it is not good for you to continue using alcohol or tobacco. And I'm not guilty. But as a pastor, if I tell them the same thing, the law says I'm guilty and I will be fined, I will be jailed, and I may even get a death penalty. Do you see the absurdity of these laws? Now, who are the people who believe in God? People who are weak, who are sick, who are orphaned, who have nobody in their life, who need a deliverance, who are going through a rough patch, depressed, sad. These are the kind of people who usually come to the knowledge of God, and they want deliverance from that old pattern of life or from that old circumstance which has gripped them. If somebody helps them, how can that be a wrong thing? If somebody is telling them that, okay, if you do yoga, it will be good for your physical body, it will be good for your mental health, it is not a sin, it is not wrong. But if I say that Jesus will help you obtain peace, obtain strength, maybe a physical healing, then it becomes allurement. I believe that our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji and our Home Minister Amit Shah ji have sufficient intellect to understand what is the difference between allurement that is not healthy and a promise or a help that leads a person out of sin or a wrong habit or a bad habit or an undesirable circumstance. For instance, if I say to somebody that I will give you 10 lakh rupees if you believe in Jesus, it could be considered as an allurement. If I say to somebody that I will take you to America if you believe in Jesus, that could be considered as an allurement. If I say that if you do not believe in Jesus, I will kill you or I will break your legs, that could be considered as a punishment or coercion to believe. But if I am giving them promises from the Bible that are related to life in the age to come, which most of the people don't believe, how can that be allurement? If I'm telling my old mother that, see, your skin is wrinkled today, and I'm helping her every day, she's a Hindu, and she is going through her pains of old age, and every day I have to change her diapers, I have to clean her body, I have to give her a bath, I have to make her food, I have to feed her. And that person, when they go through pain and difficulty, if I pray for them that God will heal them, how can that be allurement? If she gets some relief out of it, how can that be allurement? If I tell my mother, Mama, today your body is wrinkled and old. This body may perish, but there is a body that God has promised, and that would come in the age to come when Jesus would return. At that time, God would give you a new body, and it will not have wrinkles. It will never die. It will never decay. That kind of body Jesus has promised. It is related to something that could be described as unrealistic or maybe a hope that nobody else from a scientific perspective would recommend. How can that be an allurement? I'm giving them hope. I'm giving them optimism. I'm helping them to think of a future where there will be no pain, no fear, no death, no destruction, no decay, no deceivers, no devil. A future that will be filled with love, that will be filled with happiness, that will be filled with serenity, that will be filled with peace. How can that be an allurement? I am not promising them prostitutes. I am not promising them wine or alcohol. I'm talking about a God who came to die for them so that they could be forgiven and they could receive bodies that would never die. How could that be an allurement? Therefore, these kind of laws, which are not in line with the spirit of our country, I would not say the spirit of our constitution, I would say the spirit of our country that welcomes all philosophies, that welcomes metaphysical thinking, that welcomes spirituality. These kind of laws are not in line with the spirit of Bharat. Suppose I am reading Gita, Bhagavad Gita, and I see something that is exciting to me, and I share it with my friend who is a Muslim, and they feel excited about it, and they want to join me in reading Gita. Am I alluring them? It's the same thing that happens when I read the Bible. It's the same thing that happens when somebody else is reading Quran. But if I give them materially something, and I say, well, I will give you a job, I will take you to America, I will give you a visa, or I say that I will give you this woman as your wife, or if I say that I will give you financial help, then of course you can say it is allurement. But if there is nothing like that involved, and I'm giving them promises from the Word of God, from the Bible, how can that be allurement? If I'm giving them just food to eat, if somebody comes to me who is hungry, the Bible says feed them. Didn't Vivekananda say the same thing? Feed them. So if I feed them, is it allurement? I'm just giving them food that they need. I'm not telling them to change their religion. They can eat and they can go and they can thank God if they wish to. Therefore, when we formulate laws of this kind, where the penalty is huge, like death penalty, life imprisonment, and huge fines, we must be very careful, particularly when we are targeting a particular group of people or a community. I can not share the message of Jesus, the message of love, with my old mother and with my father. But if my relatives coerce me, force me to marry somebody whom I don't like, change my religion, which is now Christianity, back to Hinduism, they will not get death penalty. They will not get a life imprisonment. They are excluded from this law. This law is partiality. Laws are made for people to feel that they are equal, respected, and secure. Laws are, if you make partial laws, then what is the need for making laws? You just tell Bajrang people to kill all the Christians. We are ready to die. You just fire us, burn us, like you burn Graham Staines. No problem. We will die. We will forgive you, even while we are dying, and we will say a prayer. God, forgive our country's government. Forgive Rajasthan's chief minister. Forgive Narendra Modi ji. Forgive Amit Shah ji. And we may even vote for Amit Shah ji and Modi ji. I vote for BJP. Because we do not like corruption and terrorism. And we like development with prosperity and peace, which they bring. But if you want to formulate laws that are so partial, what is the need to formulate such laws? You can give a second-class citizenships to non-Hindus and just say that this is what you deserve. There are other countries like Bangladesh and Pakistan that are doing the same thing. If you formulate a law, it should be impartial. If I am forcefully converting my parents to this faith of Christianity, they have the right to go to the court, sue me, and maybe get me a death penalty or life imprisonment or a huge fine. But on the other hand, if they do the same thing, or my other relatives do the same thing, until now no RSS person has done it to me, to be honest. But if they do the same thing to me and say that you have to change from this Christian faith and you have to believe in this particular way of life, force me or allure me, I cannot sue them. I cannot give them, by the same law, death penalty, life imprisonment, or a huge fine. So this law is not a law. It is just a one-sided piece of article written to say that you cannot share the message of love with our people. My dear friends, we are only sharing the message. It is the hearer who does the belief. If they believe, they will follow. If they do not believe, they will not follow. If the person does not have a need, they will never use our message. It is the sick who goes to the doctor. If a person is not sick, and if they don't think that the doctor is a good doctor, they will never go to the doctor. But if they think that the doctor is a good doctor who can heal them, then only they will go to that doctor. If you do not have a better medicine, you have to find a better medicine instead of stopping the other doctor from practicing. Therefore, this is my request to my Bharatiya Janata Party people, friends and relatives, and also the lawmakers, and also the Christian community, to understand that laws are made for all, for impartiality and for impartial justice. Justice needs to be given to all. This doesn't mean that I will go and vote for corruption people or terrorism people or communist people. This only means that I am requesting my people, the people of Bharat, who have good sense, who can understand these things better than many other cultures, to make laws that are impartial and respectable for all people. God bless you. Have a great day.